Wait. Is this a practice or is this real?
No, we're going. Let's fucking do
Okay.
this. All right,
All
ready?
right, let's
We'll
go.
do it live.
We'll do it live.
We're doing it live. All right, 3, 2, 1.
All the crooked hedge funds meet, all the big dogs on Wall Street. The SEC gets on the line. Stop the buying, we'll say we're blind. When the brokers froze, the game did stop, but retail rose up to the top to make a stand and hold the line with diamond hands. Beat them blind. The price to drop, they yell, please sell. We held our shares through the depths of hell. Up and down to hell and back. Us diamond hands we never cracked. Through the storm our spirits swell. Against the suits we did rebel. In the fray we found our track. Solidarity, our counterattack.
Thanks everyone for joining the show. My name is Sean Fitzy.
I'm Chuck.
I'm Paulie.
And I'm Echo.
And this is the Echo Chamber. On today's show, we're going to go talk about the week GameStop had, the kitty tweet that we all got, and then there's an anniversary that we're going to try to talk about too. So, yeah, welcome to the show, everybody. How you guys doing tonight?
Very
Doing
good.
I
Very
wish,
good. Thanks,
I
Sean.
wish
Doing
I
good.
was still in football season. I mean, I know it's still football season, but as a Patriots fan, it's lost its luster. Everybody's winning. We're losing. I threw my back out. I mean, it's just been a tough week.
Oh yeah, I saw that, bro.
Just
how
so
you
much
feeling?
icy hot. All the icy hot. It's better, but like it reminds me of what you said. It's like I didn't tweak it by just literally like waking up, but it was something like similar to that. Like I couldn't believe it how I tweaked it. I mean, stay young out there, people, if you can.
Yeah, we got into a whole like old person discussion on a thread of
It was-
yours.
It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it was. There's a lot of hurt GameStop holders out there too.
Yeah,
a lot of
dude,
bad
they're-
backs out there in the community.
Just carrying bags around, they'll do it to your back. Got some good tips though about some, there's pills you can take for your back. There's all different types of heating pads and apparatuses. So I got some good intel. Always appreciate the GameStop community. So they're not just about the stock. They also help you out in life, life when you hurt your back.
Oh yeah, and you got some fun followers too. So there's always some
they're
good
the
comments on
best.
there. Yeah, so that's cool. How's your weekend been so far, Paulie?
Yeah, speaking of old people stuff, we had a granddaughter born yesterday, so that was really exciting.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Grandpa Paulie. Oh my god.
Yeah. She wasn't supposed to be born until tomorrow, so that was an eventful day for sure. But yeah, mother and baby are both happy and healthy, so it was all good. We got to go see her today as well as yesterday, so yeah, all is well.
That's cool. What congratulations. And so what version is it? How are you gonna name it? Like Keith? Or is it some version?
Yeah, like I mean, you can't include a curse word, but like deep, bleeping.
Yeah,
maybe would work.
wow.
Yeah. I
Our-
did not.
our
I
maybe.
did not have any input on the name. So there are no RoaringKitty themed names on this one. However, she did get named after a combination of my middle name and my wife's mother's first name. So that's pretty cool.
That's
That
pretty
is
close to Ryan Cohen. I'll take it.
Yeah, we'll accept it. All right, cool. Echo, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Just hanging out. Another long week at work. Things are starting to pick up after the holidays, so I'm just relaxing while I can. But did start watching Arcane on Netflix this weekend. I don't know if you all have seen that or not.
Oh, I watched that first season. I think there's a second season out. I watched the first one. Solid.
Yeah, my wife and I decided to check it out, and she fell asleep during the third episode, which, I mean, so far it's the one episode that she probably shouldn't have fallen asleep during. But yeah, it's a great
That's how
show
it goes.
so far.
Dude, I've been crushing Banshee. I'm not trying to I don't work for them, but oh my God, the show is so good. It gets me so jacked up. I feel like I need to punch things or run through a wall. It's one of those shows. Like if I watch it, I can't go to bed after. It's just all action. Oh, highly recommended. Oh my God.
That's awesome. I keep seeing you mention that.
I can't stop.
Yeah.
I can't stop.
Yeah.
Yep.
It makes me want to watch it. Echo, Arcane is awesome. That's like we watched that as a family. All my daughters and my wife. Even my wife was into it. So that's a real good show. That might be one of the best like animated shows. I don't want to really call it anime on Netflix. So that's pretty cool. But so yeah, we'll talk about the week that we just had. It was a non-eventful week. That's for sure. I was kind of going into the week hoping that yeah, I know. I was kind of going into the week hoping that we'd start getting some volume in. It was after a pretty big OPEX week. And we really didn't get it like at all. So for the week we only did 24.23 million in volume. That is the lowest volume for a week that we've had since the 21st of October. So that week right before Ryan Cohen tweeted and deleted YOLO, and then Trump is the shit. That's the last time we had volume this low. So, that's also exactly 3 months ago. I made a post earlier in the week. This almost like it's a cycle because it is what we do in our cycles. I'm looking at the weekly chart right now. We go up and then we go down to really low volume, and that's usually right around where we bottom. So it wasn't that exciting for me. Polly, anything you see on the chart this week?
Yeah, I mean, I would echo a lot of what you've said, and as I look at especially the weekly chart and volume in combination with price action, it is consolidative in nature. I would not be surprised to see price get pushed a little bit lower before we get that bounce. Just from a structure perspective. I obviously would like to see it go higher, but from a healthy price action kind of perspective, a little bit more of a retracement would not be the worst thing in the world. And even if you're swinging options, then I mean, price going a little bit lower at the beginning of the week is better than price going a little bit lower at the end of the week. So those would just be some things to keep in mind, I guess. So yeah, as I'm looking at it, you bring up the week of October 21st. If you're looking at the weekly chart and you're looking at the weeks after October 21st, that's when volume really started to come in. And for the next 6 straight weeks after that, we had 6 straight green weeks, which I think it had been a few years since GameStop had 6 straight green weeks, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah,
And,
we're going back to 2019 or something like that.
Right, yeah. And there were 380 some million shares traded in those weeks there. But in the weeks leading up to that, I mean, it was about half that volume. So, I mean, when you get that kind of volume compression in the chart, it normally is leading up to some sort of an explosive movement one way or the other. So,
Polly, I like that you just mentioned, the week of, you said October 21st or 24th, and you kind of laughed a little bit. And then you started talking about the weeks to come. I don't know. Like, I have like my own, bullish indicators. And I think when Polly laughs, when he sees low volume, I might add that to one of my indicators, that little laugh you just did. It was like a little chuckle looking at the data.
I like it. Yeah. I mean, well, I'm just looking at my chart, and, if I look at October 21st and I look at the weeks after it, if we're mirroring anything that happened on October 21st and it's an indicator of what's to come, then I'm all for it. Like, strap me in.
Right, which we have talked, tends to be cyclical in nature, things along those lines. So yeah,
Right.
it's definitely interesting, and it's part of it. Like, I'm openly honest about how much I love this community. Like I love the stock, but I love the community and everything that comes with it. The people on X, you guys are all fantastic. I also love how we almost embrace sometimes this like, this, oh no, we suck again attitude, where I like to view it as, you have low volume. It could, if you're bullish on the stock long term and nothing has changed, there's no company news, but the stock's going down, you could just view that as an opportunity, right? Options and shares are two totally different strategies. But when it's down on low volume, one could argue, hey, that's an opportunity to buy something at a discount. It's why people like Paulie might be temporarily laughing. But I just love that there's this kind of culture of, oh no, we suck again. Like I don't know. I've seen the progression over the years of people used to just complain and blame the market. And now like we've almost become more fortified against it and more resilient. And I think that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. And like just before we started recording, I saw a tweet from Michael Saylor. Because futures and crypto and everything, is down pretty significantly tonight as we record. A lot of things are down several percent right now, but Michael Saylor put out a message. He said, "Volatility is a gift for the faithful." And I just really like that message because, it kind of goes right along with what you're saying that, if you're in a position to wait for these kinds of opportunities, everybody says buy the dip, sell the rip, right? And when opportunities like this come along and you're ready for it, and we're all gathered together to talk about GameStop in particular because of one investor like RoaringKitty, we know we can say with a pretty high degree of confidence that someone like him is lying in wait for an opportunity like that, right? And when what we perceive as volatility, when the price goes down for us, it's actually when the implied volatility on something like GameStop usually goes much lower, and that's when it's a prime opportunity for someone like him to strike when the iron is hot.
Oh yeah, and then so like you talk about the cyclical nature of things. We're also in the part of the cycle where IV is crushed down too. It comes down when the volume comes down, and you go look back at the past couple years of IV. It's the same thing. It goes down once we get down to like the 50s, the 60s, which is where we are. I think we're at like 68. I know we got down there at least. That's when that's when the buying starts coming in. That's where Kitty started coming in. He came in at the very bottom of the cycle in April, but he came in when IV was like at its lowest. I think it was 55 back then. That's when people start buying, and it starts happening real quick. So nothing's changed. We said this last week. We probably said it the week before. I feel like we since we started recording though, GameStop's been on a bit of a downtrend. So
do you think is our podcast sucking the volume out of GameStop, Paulie? Is that possible? Are we going to get blamed for this? Like when they said that RoaringKitty caused billions of volume, is our podcast actually subtracting volume? Is that possible?
Oh, it's just a dehydrator, just sucking all of the moisture out of the atmosphere now, Chuck.
Just SpongeBob in that episode where he needs water. That's literally this podcast. That's what we're doing here, people.
Yeah. I mean, I put back on my GameStop shirt for this podcast, so maybe that'll.
Yeah, baby. You got the Buck the Bunny one? That thing is.
Yeah,
dude, I like the Buck the Bunny one. It's fresh.
Well, the other thing that comes to mind too is we obviously we talk about RoaringKitty and the effect that he has on not only the community but also on the price action when he makes big moves. But it also brings to mind, we're coming up on an important point in the price action where it makes me wonder: are there other players out there who may be waiting to make moves, right? And and we may get to that later in the show as well, but it's just something to think about.
I would say there's always going to be players who want to make moves, right? Because when you think about the market, at any given point, there's a massive entity that's probably betting 4, a security to go one direction, and then there's like almost an equal entity that's hedging against that, and there's so much hedging within those institutions where they enter a position like GameStop, they buy both sides, right? It's to secure the best chances for them to come out the other way profitably. And I think I will hint at the fact that maybe the other side that we view as quote unquote the enemy in this situation is actually just waiting to essentially load up before they allow the stock to start surging again, right? Because we know the market makers control where the price of the stock is going. So part of me always does wonder, hey, will they bring this thing lower so eventually they can hop on at a better entry, and then they'll send it when they feel like it's ready, right? That's just something that always is kind of lingering in the back of my head.
Totally fair.
Yeah, and there are people out there, right? Nat Turner still needs to buy in. That's Ryan Cohen's policy that if you're going to be on the board, you need to have shares. I think he has a good amount of time to get those shares, but he should be buying.
You have what, 5 years to
Yeah.
get to a $275,000 buy-in, and I mean, I think there's an easy speculation on why that hasn't happened, right?
M&A.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's that they brought him on at a time when you're bringing a presumed billionaire. I don't think there's any reliable data out there on what his actual net worth is, but I think it's easy to assume that he's a billionaire. You're bringing a possible billionaire onto the board who has the means to easily meet that threshold onto the board. He could, swipe up some shares easily, but he doesn't buy in immediately. I think that sends an implicit message. He can't.
Yeah, and then we're also getting stuff like LC not buying when he's pretty regular, like up until like July. He changed it up a little bit when he bought in July versus right after earnings, but
LC being our boy Larry, for those out there not sure.
Yeah, Larry Chang.
Yeah,
he's cool.
My man's a Boston fan, dude. He likes Boston just like me. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, LC's badass. There was some tinfoil around him that might not have panned out with the whole Cheers thing. So, but either way, whatever. Yeah,
well,
LC's
real
cool.
Quick, Fitzy, speaking of billionaires, sorry, just while we're on this, there has been photos and speculation around. I don't know if this guy's a billionaire. We talked about him last week, Sultan. Did you guys see that tweet by Shaking Pika by any chance? Did you guys see it? You want to maybe talk about that? It's a little transition point.
Yeah, Roaring Pika. So yeah, there's a couple things that did happen through the week. Also, was Sultan tweeted again, and this time it was with the the chairman or the CEO of EA Sports, and he tagged Trump and he tagged GME again. And he was talking
Bro's a mad lad with his X skills.
Yeah, I know, really. So yeah, and he was talking about like building a possible partnership is kind of how I think he put it. But then you dig into what FIFA's been doing. Did I say EA? I meant FIFA. If I said EA earlier. Anyways, you look into what FIFA's been doing, and they got all kinds of Web3 initiatives that they're working on. When they're working like with the World Cup, there was a whole. We talked about it last week. We don't need to go all the way into it, but yeah, that was really interesting. And then you said Shaking Pika or Roaring Pika. I found out that we have a crypto czar, by the way, guys. I didn't know that. And it's like a real it's not his official title. It's his like unofficial title. But I thought it was kind of cool that we're calling people czar again. I feel like that's like an 1800s Russia type of shit.
I might just throw czar in my professional work signature and just see if anyone catches me on it. Just throw czar in there.
Yeah, what are you gonna be the czar of though?
Yeah, just sales. Just a sales czar. It's fine.
Czar. Yeah, that's you. All right,
that's
cool.
me.
That'll work.
Yeah.
So this crypto czar, David Sachs, and I can't remember basically he's overseeing the AI and the crypto initiatives of the government, I believe.
Yeah, he also said that NFTs and meme coins are collectibles, not securities, which is an important distinction versus the previous reign.
Yeah, right. Like, and then, well, I don't know if you have anything further. I'm not like that much of an expert when it comes to like how crypto
No, I got
is
no
is.
idea. I got no idea.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, and so he's like the former PayPal COO. So he's from the fintech space.
Hmm.
Um, and so the headline basically was that he was saying that NFTs and meme coins, like you said, are specifically collectibles, not securities. And so I think that opens an important door that could be relevant to GameStop in the near future. It obviously has implications for the Trump meme coin that launched right before inauguration weekend, and a lot of other things that we're seeing in recent events. But with the NFT marketplace that GameStop launched a couple of years ago, that could become relevant again here in the near future with this particular development. So it's something to watch.
It would be, again, typically you would not just tear down and delete an infrastructure that had been previously created. Even if it did not go well, you would kind of just put it on ice, so to speak. So regardless of whether they want to or not, the good news there is I feel like they'll be able to quickly pivot back to the NFT marketplace if it's something they chose to do. They could iterate on it, but they already have an existing infrastructure in place, which will make it a lot easier for them to quickly, greenlight something if they want to, bring something into the 2025 that didn't work previously.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
then you looked at the collectible part of it. I mean, they just partnered with PSA.
Yep.
So there's like a whole nother like physical collectible. And I believe that there's going to be like a crossover to turn that into. There's a
Mhm.
lot of people who believe that turn that into like NFTs as well, to where you'll be able to have a digital component with your physical component,
Hmm.
and GameStop kind of being in the middle of all that kind of stuff. It seems like pretty spot on what they could be working on, especially with the PSA stuff, and then like them joining a partnership announced, Nat joining the board, and then nothing since, like
Yeah.
silence. So
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there, and I don't know if I want to read into it too much yet. But with also Sultan Almanadid coming into the recent spotlight and his involvement in Web3 and everything along those lines, you know, it it bears repeating. These all could be related. And something that I was just, looking at earlier today was, I was looking over the Roaring Kitty's timeline, and, I've always noticed like he has a pinned tweet there, right? It's been there since 2020, and I've always thought like, man, that's been there a while, right? I would go back and look at it every now and then, but I keep wondering, like, I wonder how relevant that still is, right? And it's basically, his thesis on Ryan Cohen, and I wouldn't go back through and read the whole thing right now, but I would just, for anyone listening, go back and look at that thread, look at the pinned post on Roaring Kitty's timeline, go back and look at it, and as you start reading, start to shift the way you read it. And as he mentions things that Ryan Cohen did with Chewy, things like and we really differentiated ourselves by being the category expert and really bringing a face to e-commerce, and really at the end of the day we just happened to sell pet products. Just replace pet products with video games. Just start replacing things that he did at Chewy with things that he's doing at GameStop, and start to think about what Keith Gill, Roaring Kitty, sees and saw in Ryan Cohen, and what he might be doing behind the scenes at GameStop right now. And I think you might start to see the lens through which he sees the transformation that could be taking place behind the scenes. And I don't know, like I got pretty excited just reading through that thread that was written in August of 2020 through the frame of reference of January 2025.
And it does
Yeah.
remind me, like, Ryan Cohen did do a tweet once that was like super simplistic in nature. I think he just said there's nothing more silly than like cat food in video games. It was something along those lines.
Right.
And that really does align in a very overly simplified manner of what you just said, Paulie, where take what he did with Chewy and swap it out with video games. He's essentially saying it doesn't matter that it's cat food. It could be any other thing. The fact of the matter is you become, an expert in it. You deliver, exceptional customer service, which still his legacy continues to live on at Chewy. Like, I mean, I can't speak highly enough of Chewy. I know he's since removed himself, but when you interact with that company, they're different than Amazon. They may sell the same things that Amazon offers in many cases, but they have competitively differentiated themselves in a way that has allowed them to succeed. And why could that not be the exact same scenario with GameStop when they have billions of dollars, no debt, and someone like Ryan Cohen at the helm who's ferociously, looking to pivot the business in a way that's going to deliver shareholder value?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I think that could probably take us a little bit into what we wanted to. Well, we got a tweet from RoaringKitty.
Yes, we did.
Just in case anyone didn't know. I don't know. There's a
We
lot of
did?
interesting stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah, Polly.
It only has
Yeah.
6.4 million views because clearly nobody gives a shit about GameStop anymore.
Right, nobody tells me these things.
Right. Yeah.
Come on.
I love when he tweeted. I think I just tweeted "fuck yes." I was just like so
Dude,
fired up.
It's just like a visceral reaction, dude. It gets your blood going.
Yeah. The impact he's had on the price action is kind of interesting as well for sure. So, but yeah, I guess we can talk about the tweet a little bit first. So, oh shit, what was the night?
It was
Wednesday.
January
Wednesday.
22nd.
Yeah, it was Wednesday, I believe. I was at a basketball game when it happened.
You at a basketball game? That is shocking.
I know.
Spoiler, Paulie.
Yeah. So it was Wednesday night, right at the typical time, right? 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock,
8 p.m.
Yeah.
Yep.
Come on,
Yeah.
it's Eastern. Eastern time runs the world.
Yeah.
You know that.
prime time kitty, and it was
Yep.
it was a longer one too. It was a minute long, exactly. I think it might have been just like slightly, but it was from Futurama. I don't know, Polly, go ahead. You did some digging on all this. Go ahead.
Sure. Yeah. So I'll try to summarize it as best I can, and I did a little bit of a write up, posted it on X, and since then, there have been some additional things that have come to light. I still think a lot of my initial thoughts were, I guess maybe meaningful, but the clip comes from Jurassic Bark was the name of the episode that comes from season 7, episode 4, and the clip was approximately 1 minute long. So for those who are here for 741 references, there you go. The
That's
dog,
wild.
I
love that
show. and what I think makes it even more meaningful is that we later learned that the video content from this clip was altered in length to fit the exact time that he wanted to for the purpose of this post, right? And he also clipped audio from the song that he used to include specific words from the song, so that it was shifted a little bit so it wasn't the exact clip that was used from the show. So I don't think people noticed that right away, but as time passed by and a couple hours went by,
Hive mind gets to work.
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah. All of us true crime detectives on the
Oh my
internet.
god, we all show up.
Yeah. People started to figure out, like, hey, this isn't the exact timing of how it aired on the episode. And I love that people figured that out.
And Paulie, could I just add quickly?
Yeah.
Like, I think connecting, so the fact that, number one, we all noticed that, I think is just fantastic. But the fact that he's doing that, I mean, the man is surgical. Everything he puts out has intentionality behind it. And I think Reese, I think his Twitter name might be like Reese Politics or something along those lines. But he did a really great tweet where essentially the point he was trying to make was that, do you really ag, retail investors, and just to completely leave us, in the dust again. Like, it's just, if you know the background, it's far fetched. It's something that I think, I call them the GME shills or the bears. It's something that I think they're trying to push out, this negativity, this idea that, oh, he's coming in, he's making money off you guys. Like, I just really don't think that's the case. And when I look at the effort he puts into these videos and these posts, to me, it's evident.
Right. Yeah. And I really don't think that this time around, I don't think it's about money for him. It's really not. He's on a mission.
Homie's doing fine.
Yeah.
He's not exactly on food stamps.
Right. Exactly.
And everything matters when it comes to these tweets. Like the length of them is important. We know this. Like he's very specific. Polly and I we're trying to 109s everywhere. There's
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, so we're trying to like see, well, what's the total runtime, and brilliant. The way he spells it's I don't know. He has an M. It's brilliant, but with an M instead. He has a really cool spreadsheet where he just had all the times lined up. So
I saw
cool.
that.
And
that's super impressive that he did that. I love that. I just love that people are doing this stuff. It's just so great.
It's great. I mean, yeah, I said Polly's got competition because Polly's spreadsheets are next level too.
It's no competition. I'm more than happy to have the help. This is a community effort. But yeah. I mean, you bring up brilliant, and I would love to put our heads together at some time, because what I don't have is all the timestamps. But what I do have is a YouTube video that had all of the meme movie stitched together. And so I know when I looked that up and we checked the total runtime on that, it was I'm looking for the message that I sent you. It was just over an hour, right? It was like an hour and 5 minutes and some seconds. It was 1 hour 105:41. And no, I don't know if those were stitched together perfectly, if there was any delay. I would have to look at like all the raw data to be able to double check these numbers. But if we're just kind of running with this, the meme movie that was posted to YouTube that had all of RoaringKitty's memes just stitched back to back in reverse order, by the way. That was 1 hour, 5 minutes, 41 seconds long. Then if you take the video posts that he has posted since then, we have 27 seconds, 1 minute and 10 seconds, and 1 minute. And so that would be I think this might just be my masterpiece, the Dune video, and then the Futurama clip. And so if you add those up, we get to 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 18 seconds. So all I'm saying is if we get a 48-second video as the next post, that would make exactly 1 hour.
I want just for people listening again, that was the Pauly chuckle, which is like the bullish indicator. If Pauly starts kind of doing this, like, it's not maniacal. I don't want to seem like you're like a villain, but it's this little chuckle that's like, he's not falling for your bullshit. That's Pauly laughing.
Yeah, that's the like. I don't believe in coincidences kind of laugh, and this is a meticulously planned orchestra of numbers and math, and just it like. Keith Gill has such a beautiful mind, and it's just if that is what we see next, or if there's a culmination of video posts coming from him in the near future that add up to 48 more seconds, and then it's done, and this whole thing adds up to exactly 1 hour and 9 minutes, like can you imagine the effort that it took to do that? And the only reason that we even thought to start looking for stuff like that is the fact that this last Futurama clip was, compressed. Like the original, I think the original runtime of that clip should have been something like 1 minute and 6 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, and I'm not a great editor, but that shit isn't easy to do. Like, it was pretty flawless. I'm sure some people it's really easy for, but that would have taken me so long to try knock off exactly 6 seconds, but not have it noticeable. I think he probably went and got the song on its own maybe and played that over to get it to line up because I think the words were lined up differently too. I don't know. It's
Right.
all wild. It's all just like super impressive. You said it right. He's got a beautiful mind. What does it all mean? We don't know yet, right? 109. I think it
Right.
just means
Yeah.
69. He just likes it. Like
69,
but
420. He's a
yeah.
man of
Yeah,
of
but
taste.
Yeah,
yeah, but
if we get another 48 seconds of video content out of him, then the whole thing will add up to 69 minutes.
yeah. And that would
Right.
be just perfect.
Right. And it would be just so on brand for him,
Yeah.
right? But on back on the content of the video we got from Futurama, it starts with a date, right? and when you get dates in the GameStop story, everyone's like, oh boy, here we go again. But it's January 2nd, 2000, and the first question on anybody's mind is, did he add that in? Was that from the show, right? And so that is actually from the show. And for anyone who hasn't seen the show, in the episode, the dog's name, by the way, Seymour Asses is the name of the dog. Seymour Asses, Moass, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Is
Of course, it's a play on words with that. Of course.
right. And so that's the name of the dog, and he waited faithfully in front of Panucci's Pizza for 12 years for his owner Fry to return. And there's a lot of different ways that we can look at that. Probably many of them valid, but we know, and I want to focus on time as a key factor in a lot of the recent posts and throughout the meme movie. And I think it's prevalent here. It's prevalent in the fact that he changed the timing of the video, which I didn't know when I wrote my post. But it's also in the audio track. It's all about waiting. It's about time. We know about time and pressure. That's what forms diamonds. Everybody knows about diamond hands. The December 5th post was the time cover. And for anyone who wasn't paying attention, the T plus 35 trading days from December 5th is this coming Wednesday. And that is including the National Day of Mourning for Jimmy Carter's funeral. If you exclude that, then it would have been Tuesday, which happens to be the 4-year anniversary of the all-time high for GameStop. So one way or another, T plus 35 would have been either Tuesday or Wednesday of this coming week. From the day we got the time cover post from RoaringKitty. So that feels meaningful.
It does, and what we always need to know when it comes to GameStop and counting dates or days is that it's more like you got to go roundabout, right? Like T.
Right.
I've never seen a T plus date hit, like not really. And I think that's on purpose. I think T plus is legit. That shit, we do get our runs based on that kind of stuff. That's the whole market is built around delaying settlement and shit. So to act like that isn't something that happens would just be crazy to me. But
Sure.
The Ultimator, by the way, is a great. He does posts where he basically tells you exactly when the price is going to move because of things like settlement. He's fantastic with his posts.
Ultimator's great. He did that song too.
Oh, I've been listening to that at the gym just constantly, just all jacked up.
Yeah. Ultimator's good.
Yeah, and we forgot to actually mention that during the show last week, but hopefully people caught that in the comments and all of our shout outs on X afterward. But hopefully everyone enjoyed having that as part of the show last week, and we really appreciate Ultimator for giving us permission to use that because that song was fire.
Yeah, it was dope. Thanks, bro. I'm probably gonna just leave it up there because it was pretty good.
I love it.
Yeah, I do too. So who knows what's gonna happen with next week? We didn't get our volume, so I guess we can. That could be part of that T35 thing. It is a big anniversary. We'll talk about that at the end too. So, recool talk, all that. There was the dates from January 9th and then the following week with Greg's birthday or whatever the hell was going on there.
Right.
Left a lot of people sour. So I don't know. I just,
Which again,
Yeah.
dates are fun to talk about. They're fun to
Yeah.
theorize. They're fun to, smoke the tin on. But you just always have to be careful. I recognize that there are people out there that are likely playing options. I would hope that they're not playing options based on these dates. That may be the case,
Yeah.
maybe it's not. But the dates should really be, it's the fun part of the investment or the community, right? We can all kind of speculate. We can all, do some digging, and maybe one day a date will work out. We'll all be right about something. But as you guys have said before, the T plus dates tend not to work out. I always just say T plus tomorrow. I feel like it covers me.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be tomorrow, maybe it'll be the next day, maybe it'll be Tuesday, whatever. But that's kind of my mindset, right? T plus tomorrow. Whenever it happens, it happens. But until it happens, or if it happens, I'm still gonna have fun talking about it. And I think, something that I saw personally in the RoaringKitty tweet was, reactions to it, and if it could mean something for another ticker, right? Like, and I think one that a lot of people have talked about is the ticker Unity. There was like a U in the pizza shop name. It fell to the ground and then it vanished. It personally reminded me a little bit of when he dropped Chewy. The one thing I'll say about U is that it's different to me in the sense that with Chewy, we saw a 13F filing, right? So people were speculating on Chewy. He was dropping the dog emojis, things along those lines. But we did get an actual government filing that showed he had invested in the company. We have not got that with you, but we have gotten, some accounts that have relatively larger followings talking about it. And obviously that can cause a stir, and it's natural. And I just hope people don't, put consequential amounts of money out there that are associating to you just because of something that someone else does. I think it's fun to theorize, but for me, sometimes it feels a little bit disingenuous when you see accounts that are talking about you and then suddenly they go quiet when, the stock starts plummeting and they're still talking about GameStop. So I just want to remind everyone out there that, we've seen this over the last 4 years. They've tried to affix GameStop to AMC. They've tried to affix GameStop to other securities and crypto, trying to divert your attention away from GameStop to anything else that's shiny, bright, and new. So just always be a little bit skeptical. Again, I'm not saying that there isn't potential good long-term, investment potential in the stock Unity. It could be a great company. Just be careful, right, with any of this tin, because none of it's proven. We're all just having fun out there.
Yeah, and that could be, what Kitty's he could just be messing with the algo on all of this stuff because the dropping the dog was very specific. It wasn't very ambiguous. We all thought he was selling his Chewy, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
So a U dropping off a sign and then a clip about Unity, but not the clip he showed, is definitely not on par with like how he did with Chewy. But it is interesting that there was another dog in this clip too. So
Right.
that was interesting. I had Blue Checkmark sending me some really cool tin about the different way the animals are looking. There's such good tinfoil out there, and
Yeah.
one day maybe one day we'll maybe hopefully figure it out. But something Chewy did pump after the overnight Robinhood pump, as well as Unity did, which is just super interesting to me. Like is that whole U tinfoil? What there's a few 5,000 blocks I think on the option chain. There were some 5,000 blocks in the dark pool. I have not kept up on that at all. But for why is the algo pumping you when the only people talking about you are like us? It's weird. I don't know. It's just odd that
it is interesting. And I will say this too, like again, if he were to drop a 13F filing tomorrow and it showed you, of course we'd talk about it and we'd say, wow, they were right the whole time. It was you, there it was. But it is interesting, as you said, that like he does this post, you pumps a little bit in after hours, GameStop pumps a little bit in after hours, Chewy pumps a little bit in after hours. It's almost like the algo doesn't quite know what to do with the tweet. So it's almost feeding off all of the engagement that's coming in for GameStop, Chewy, and you. And that's what you're seeing in the price action. And then, obviously the next day or the following days, it kind of tapers out, right? We've seen a little bit of that, not just with GameStop, but with those stocks. So it's definitely interesting to see. And just, the theories around it. And again, 5,000 blocks. I'm not saying that I can personally do that, but it's not like RoaringKitty is the only person on planet Earth that could buy 5,000 blocks to try to, create the illusion that he's entering a trade, right? There could be bad actors out there that know that our super engaged hive mind has picked up on this 5,000 block strategy, and maybe they're the ones who are buying those blocks. I'm not saying that's happening, but we can't just directly immediately correlate 5,000 blocks to RoaringKitty. You just can't do that. That's not how it works.
No,
sure.
but it is crazy that we have not gotten. Why hasn't anyone fucked with us? Like, it would be super easy for someone, not easy, but you'd probably have to drop like $50,000 on some far out the money shit. But it would trick us all. I'm positive if a 5,000 block showed up of some out the money call. So yeah, no, it's just weird that it hasn't happened. But yeah, absolutely. Like,
you know what it reminds me of, actually? Jim Cramer in that video where he's just openly like, hey everybody, you want to know how to manipulate stock? Here's how I did it. You don't need much, maybe 5 million. He goes into exact detail of if he was short on a position, he would do this. If he was long on a position, he would do this. So to your point, Fitzy, I mean, whether it's $50,000, $1 million, or $5 million, it is interesting that nobody is, fucking with us to the degree that they could, knowing that we're so fixated on these blocks.
Yeah, it is wild. I don't know. So, yeah, I'm trying to think about some of the other tinfoil. I mean, it sparked a whole conversation. Around, Ryan Cohen and waiting and time.
I do have
I don't
two
know.
more things on Kitty's
go for
tweet
it.
from this week if you want me to continue. So two more things that came across my desk from users on X. One guy, Travis, I'm not going to try to pronounce your username. It's a bunch of gibberish, but I will give you credit in the tweets later. So Travis he pointed out that January 2nd is also the date this year that a new SEC Rule 13F-2 went into effect, where institutional investment managers have to go into compliance on reporting their short positions. And this is a rule that was announced back in 2023. So if we're operating under the premise that RoaringKitty had all of this planned out for a while, he knew this date was coming long before any of the May squeeze, any of that. So like this particular tin, I think, has the potential to carry water. This is not something that popped up overnight. And so let me just kind of elaborate a little bit on what the SEC Rule 13F-2 means, and I'm going to try to not put people to sleep with this. The reason this is relevant is because what's changing is that it does not matter how many assets under management you have as an investment manager. You have to report your gross short positions if your monthly average short position in a security during a calendar month is at least $10 million or more, or your monthly average gross short position is 2.5% or more of the shares of the reporting issuer's outstanding shares during that calendar month. So if it's a really small company and you've got a short position that exceeds 2.5% of their outstanding, or you've got a short position of at least $10 million or more over an average of the month. So it doesn't matter if you dumped it by the end of the month, but you held it as an average over the entire month. And it doesn't matter whether you've tried to offset it with long positions or anything like that. It does not matter. It's your gross position. And so, this is an attempt to try to get over rehypothecations, continuous net settlement, all the other shenanigans that they're doing. I'm sure they've still got some tricks in their bag that they can try to do to try to get around this and underreport shorts. But this is, in my opinion, again, not a lawyer, but in my opinion, this is the closest we have come to getting a true idea of how many actual shorts there are out there. Because if you're new here, short interest is fake. Short interest is not a true idea. It's not a true reporting of how many short shares there are out there, right? And I think most people probably listening to this know that, but this is an important change to the rule, and it goes into compliance, or went into compliance, in January 2nd of this year. And so starting at the end of this month, anyone managing an investment fund has to report that, and it doesn't matter how big or small they are. They have to do that, and they're fighting back on it. They're trying to get an exception to this, but under the new administration, I think it's very unlikely that they're going to get that, because the Trump administration is going to be very unfriendly to short sellers. So, love them or hate them, they're not going to be friendly to short sellers. So, if you're a GameStop investor, I think you have that to look forward to. And so, what that means is they have to report by the I think it's by the 14th of the next month, and then by the end of that month, the results get published in aggregate. So I say all that. Yeah, I say all that to temper expectations on what all these dates might mean from Kitty's most recent video, because that could be an important date for us, but it also could mean we still have some more waiting to do, because we have to wait for shorts to get reported. But when they do, it could be meaningful for GameStop. So, we don't know, but I thought it was really interesting.
That is cool. Boo on waiting. I'm just playing. We are
right. Yeah. Yeah.
we can wait. We can wait whatever we need to wait. A lot of people that seem to want to act like they can't, but whatever.
Yeah. I don't love the idea of waiting any longer either. But
well, speaking of waiting,
isn't
there like an anniversary? Haven't people been waiting?
Yeah.
Maybe
4 years.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, I don't know. So a lot of us are coming up on our anniversary of buying in. It's also the anniversary of the squeeze, like you said the high, GameStop high on January 28th. It's when they shut off the buy button. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do we have anything else with the tweet though? Like, are you good there, Paulie? I think when it comes to the tweet, it's interesting that the price action is getting like weaker and weaker. Like, it's not the impact of his tweet isn't as strong as it had been in the past. We did do
wonder
pretty
though
good
a little bit, Fitzy, if remember when he was stringing the tweets together and it was almost like bucking the system. The algo did not know what to do. I'm wondering if it's feeding off the frequency of him tweeting now too, in the sense that okay, he's tweeting, but it's infrequent. It'll go up a little bit, but history of late says he's not going to tweet again for another week or 2 weeks or whatever. So it quickly fades away. If he starts tweeting with more frequency, would we see a change in how that impacts the algo, impacts the volume, etc., like a cascading effect? So I do wonder about that, right? Like, it's like volume of change.
Yeah, I think, when everyone wants I say send it Kitty, and I want Kitty to tweet, but these things are just like with anything else. If he starts doing this all the time again with nothing else happening, it's going to lose its impact. But a change for us would be like a tweet. The only thing I wanted to say is that, like, tweet in after hours at 5:00. I think he's messing with the algo, trying to see what's going on. But what we really want to see is a tweet during market hours, or even right in pre-market. Like, those are that's when something's changing. So
right.
So right now, right now we're just kind of getting typical stuff. But
he had tweeted before when I was in a work meeting and I literally almost passed out.
Yeah, I was home those 2 days. Actually, I got sick on the 15th and the 16th. I had like pneumonia. It was terrible. It was like the only time I have you can see my Twitter engagement went down to like nothing. I was just dead.
But the tweet actually cured your pneumonia. I don't know if people know that out there. Like, if RoaringKitty tweets, it actually can heal your ailments.
It does. It brings you back to life, like the Undertaker. It brings calls back to life, especially if he tweets during the day.
Well, and I guess what I want to say is that, as much as we really look forward to posts from him, that's not a true catalyst, is it? Right? Like, it does cause some short-term activity, some short-term volatility, some short-term volume, but it's not a true catalyst. What the real catalyst I'm looking for, so from him specifically, is an SEC filing. And I do truly believe in my heart that we're going to get one. I just don't know when. I don't know what it's going to be, but I will go on record saying that I believe that when he posted his yellow update with 9,001,000 shares, that wasn't just him, paying homage to Ryan Cohen. I believe, and he did that on the anniversary of Ryan Cohen's last Form 4 filing, by the way, that I believe that he did that to call his shot, to say that he was gunning for 10%. And that's just my personal opinion. I think that's what's on his game plan. I don't know when he's going to do it, how he's going to do it. I think he's going to do it with a combination of shares and options. I obviously can't prove that, but that's my gut feeling, just based on his MO and what he's done in the past. But I think when the time comes, we're going to know that he's about to pop his head up. I don't think that it's going to. I don't think it's necessarily going to catch us by surprise, unless he's just been accumulating shares in the dark. But I mean, we've been tracking those buys in the dark pool, but in order for him to do that without options, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's enough of a catalyst for him to quote, do it myself, if we're referring back to the meme movie. I think options have to play a role in being a catalyst.
Absolutely. And doing it himself, that we talked about it a little bit last week, but it's not just like putting out a YOLO like that. I mean, that might send us for a while, but there's more to his plan. There's more than just, he does want on the board, I think we believe. And then we need to get into why he wants on the board. I mean, there's a whole thing on him versus RC or him with RC or whatever, your opinion is on this, is whether or not they're like on the same side, they're working together. I don't think they're working together. Well, not like outright just, planning shit together, but
right.
Anyways,
not colluding.
Yeah, no. But right. I mean, I think that these tweets are all to Ryan Cohen, honestly. Maybe not every one of them, but I really think the majority of these tweets, and the one we just got, I think he's talking to Ryan Cohen. He might be talking to us a little bit, but I think he's telling, I don't know what he's telling. I'm not going to even try to guess, but I think all of these are kind of like aimed at him. And I think that might be how they're trying to communicate.
Maybe Ryan Cohen texted him after and he was just like, chill, bro. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. That's it. That's the tweet was awesome.
Super sad episode, by the way. I don't know if anyone watched this Futurama out there, but it was gut wrenching.
Yeah. No, I know, and it's a cool name, and and then it's like, the sadness of the tweet, the tone kind of like bled out into the community a little bit too. So that was interesting to me too.
Kind of reminded me of when he originally did the ET tweet, and I think people were wondering, like, is he literally ever going to come back again? When he was boarding the ship, like everyone was like, wait, hold on, is he gone? And there was that like almost momentary despair after it all, and then he came back, and it was just elation. Yeah,
and well, we saw. It's when the kitty goes to sleep. That's when we need to start being worried, right? We had to wait 3 years when that shit happened. So, okay. So yeah, we got an anniversary coming up. I just wanted to share that. If I don't know, this all kind of started for me on the 29th, I think it was, but there was a lot of people that I looked to when I first came in, and I appreciate them. So I saw a tweet from Rensol this morning, or Bucky, and it just made me think, just the daily stonk every day. Chuck, you remember reading that?
Dude, if you happen to be listening to this, and I've told him this directly before, my wife and I used to like get giddy waiting for him to post it early in the morning. Oh my God. It literally it was like better than coffee. I mean, dude, shout out to you. You wrote that thing every single day for the longest time. nobody, you didn't have to do it and you did it anyway. And I think everyone that was in GameStop early on is just forever thankful and grateful to you because, man, that was just amazing for you to do that every day. Just what dedication.
Absolutely. Yep, and like no one knew where to go, but we all knew to read Renzel's, post. It was just perfect. And then we, hung out on the daily thread on Super Stonk all day bullshitting until I came out to Twitter. But there's a lot of people that are out here on Twitter with us right now too. That that this is going to be their 4-year anniversary, or that this is when they bought their first share. Roaring Pika had a pretty cool post about it, so I just thought that was pretty neat. But I wanted to shout out a few people that were here when I got to Twitter, like that I know were there in 2021, like Diamond 869 is just OG as all get out. Him and Dilly and cousin Sven and Train, Vaughn M, HD Dreams, all y'all, Joey Galini, all you guys. I might have said that part wrong. I don't know. It's just I appreciate the whole community. I appreciate the original people that were here when I came out to Twitter and embraced me, took us into these space calls, and just all of it. I love that. I love the new people that are here too. We got some really awesome people that that's probably their 9 months. May is probably their anniversary for when they got in. But it's an awesome community. I really love it. I appreciate everything about it. And
I think talking about sorry, I'm going to cut you off on the close there. Happy anniversary. But I also think you bring up a good point around like it's the anniversary for folks that have been around, for a while. But sometimes I see, and by the way, I get this. I think there's like this inherent distrust of new people to the community. But, I'm the type of person where until you prove to me that you have malicious intentions or you're clearly trying to pump a meme coin or just trying in any way to take advantage of the GameStop community, I'm usually going to give you the benefit of the doubt. So I just want to remind maybe people out there, when you see these new accounts and it just seems like they're tweeting about GameStop and they have a passion for GameStop, I get the skepticism, but again, until they prove that they're otherwise, misintentioned, just give them the benefit of the doubt. And maybe they're starting their GameStop journey a little later than you. That doesn't mean in any way that they're not, equally invested moving forward.
Oh yeah, we got some really cool people that came out and join the community. Polly's one of them in May and June, and then in the Discord we got Strawberry Moon and Moon.
Yeah. Moon, Moon's my man. Moon's always eating weird stuff. I love you, Moon, but my God, eating mayo, you eating like scorpions and hot stuff. He's all over the place.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. It's an awesome thing, and I appreciate everyone in the community, and thank you everyone for listening to this show. We love the feedback that we're getting. So yeah, please comment, tell us what you think, tell us what you'd like to hear. Bullshit with us, we enjoy it. We're kind of interactive with Twitter for sure. So, yeah, I guess that's all I got. Everyone, thanks for joining the show, and we'll see you all next week. Unless Kitty tweets, maybe we'll do another one. But yeah, thanks for joining, guys.
Peace.
Thanks. Have a good one.
RoaringKitty sent out a tweet. A man leaning forwards in his seat. The markets broke, the stock did rise. Next, what he did was a great surprise. He told us all he'd do a stream at 12 o'clock, but wasn't seen. Then lady came all beat and bruised. He fucked the media, and we were amused. RoaringKitty's voice was chilled. Whispers grew in the anxious wait. Would he speak to seal their fate? A tweet broke through his meme on form. Markets surged with a frenzied storm. GameStop ripped back up once more. What else have we got in store?